Damn. Yeah, no, that was that was such an eloquent point. I'm blown away by how eloquent you are about all this stuff.
I have done a lot of talking on MMORPGs. I've consulted with a couple of gaming companies.
You know the.
Oh, I mean, when we went to the Bulgaria thing, it was flown over to consult on the creation process of a new MMORPG.
Oh wow!
And after they showed me what they have, and they turned around and went, "So, do you want to support us?" I said, "No, this is terrible. This is awful. What you've got's dire.
They flabbergasted quite the awkward conversation.
Okay, it was brilliant. So what happened was that they flew me over.
Okay.
Beautiful plane. They landed there. Lovely 5-star hotel. Put me up.
Really?
There was a day in the mountains in a spa.
Delightful.
I was sat there, the lovely kind of snow-covered peaks in the distance, the massage, the drinks.
Yeah,
I played the game for about half an hour. And they were like, "So what do you think?" And I said, "I'm going to be honest. You've pampered me, but you've not let me play your game." And they said, "Well, do you want to support our Kickstarter, our Patreon?" No.
Wait. They flew you out to try and get you to then go and talk about.
The point of them getting me was because they wanted access to my audience and they wanted access to the kind of influence that I had there. So when they said, "Do you want to support us?" the answer is no. I would have.
It was a beautiful 5-star trip.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
Don't get me wrong. I loved every part of that trip except the game.
That's so funny. Oh god.
They haven't got me back yet. They've got a couple of other people
you
back.
Got your massage.
I got your
5-star.
I got my integrity. That's what's important.
Yeah, of course.
No, the integrity is the important aspect.
I mean, look, you can always get another 5-star hotel. You can't get your viewers just back.
This is what I've said to my viewers so much. As soon as I say that a game is good when it isn't, that's when I lose viewer trust, I lose integrity. I've turned down so many sponsorships from so many companies because they've had bad games. And I've turned down sponsorships from good games because I don't play them.
Yeah.
And my voice wouldn't have any weight to it. I would just be lying to the audience.
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a game reviewer, I feel like it is quite tough to...
Well, don't worry, the Morrowind video will probably give you all the money you need.
Yeah, that'll help. Yeah. I could retire now. As soon as we play Oblivion for the 80 hours.
Oh, gosh. Walking only.
Yeah, walking
How
only.
about crawling next?
So when I played Oblivion on stream, I played it entirely by punching. I didn't use any weapons. And I think the title of the series was Fisting My Way Across Tamriel. So we just punched all the way until the very final boss where you can just punch him to death, which was great. But the idea is, as a video game reviewer, my power, my influence comes in being trusted. Trust is a currency. I've had this discussion with a guy called Chris Wilson, who was at the time the CEO of Grinding Gear Games, who makes Path of Exile. I worked with the Path of Exile team a couple of times. They love it. You played Path of Exile?
I have played Path of Exile.
I'll send it across. Beautiful, brilliant game.
I only played Path of Exile 2, but
Great game.
I loved it the first
Really
time
good game. I love working with Grinding Gear Games. I had an interview with Jonathan, the guy that is the head of Path of Exile 2. He's a great guy. But we basically agreed that trust is a commodity, and you bank trust when you do things where the audience can see you being honest and genuine, and you spend trust when you take risks. So if I say, right, I'm going to make a video on a game that no one's played, but trust me, it'll be good. And if people have seen my videos, they'll go, okay, I don't know the game, but I know that Josh can make it entertaining. I'll go and watch that.
Right.
If I keep saying every game that I come to is the best game, you should go and play this, #ad, eventually that has no weight and no value to it. So I try and push back as much as I possibly can on that. Whereas games that I'm not sponsored to say that I like, I will still say that I like anyway. In fact, I had a conversation with, I think it was Blizzard many years ago. And they said to me, we've got, X amount of money. What would we need to do for you to say that this expansion is good? And I would say, take X amount of money and make a good expansion.
Yeah.
That's it. If the game is good, I'll say it's good because that benefits me playing the game as well.
Right.
For sure, yeah.
Damn. My strategy is to make it abundantly apparent when I'm playing a game that I do not fuck with it. And then I'm like, I will
without explicitly saying.
I guess because my whole strategy has been, I do expensive big projects, require money. I will take the money and be like, wow, guys, we got to play this more offline. This is so good.
Join my guild.
we have to play. I will stream this more totally. But I mean, it's I feel I'm like shameful. I'm like, I mean,
the only game that I
play shitty games.
The only game that I have got into recently since being here was because I saw everyone playing it was the Pokemon trading card game.
I'm deep into that.
Okay, so
he's way deep into that.
I have what you could say invested in.
If you want to see modification.
This is the last message. We were talking about Kadikarus earlier. This is the last message that I sent to him of a card that I pulled and the lovely response that he gave me.
Oh my God.
I've been trying to pull that Mew gold card for so long.
Oh yeah,
now.
there we go. So we got that.
Yeah.
So I started playing that. I've seen people kind of play it on the train. I'm like, I'm gonna get involved in this.
I
It's really
can't.
good.
I'll get too addicted to that, and I will.
Yeah.
throw
I am
my
too
money-
addicted to it.
money- Yeah, I know.
But,
Yeah.
Money will be
I've thrown
gone.
an embarrassing amount of money at that game, and I do not regret it at all.
So
Oh
this is
my
a really
God.
interesting. You mentioned money. One of my favorite MMORPG facts. MMORPGs are monetized. You can get the cosmetics, you can buy the weapons in some of them, you can buy the kind of battle passes in the other, you can buy the expansions. FIFA Ultimate Team makes more money
Yeah.
than most MMOs put together.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean,
I think we spoke about this one time. I was explaining how, like, to be a pro on FIFA, the amount I think the amount you have to spend is somewhere in the range of like I think it's like 50K, or it was something absurd, or 5K. It was like some absurd number to be able to have an ultimate team that is able to compete.
Yeah.
It was some ridiculous. Maybe we can fact check that guy. Check it out. Like FIFA Ultimate Team require. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, FIFA
Income or
FIFA
requirements.
Ultimates have just got an insane monetization system that is
it's
just
the EA special.
it's just the EA money like cash cow, you know.
Did you see the whole thing with? So it's not called FIFA anymore. Did you know this?
Yeah, it's called
They lost the FIFA license, didn't they?
yeah.
So,
shit.
So actually, it was like FIFA just wanted more money from EA. And
Yeah.
FIFA, I mean,
Yeah.
FIFA's
They
not a
want
good
them, yeah.
company.
No, no.
You know,
Not at
FIFA
all.
are the most uncorrupt company
Yeah,
in the world that are not money hungry.
It was
at
the
all.
one time where somehow EA seemed like the reasonable party in all
They
of
went, now
this.
slow down, guys.
Yeah.
This is too much.
But FIFA went, you guys are money grubbing a bit much. EA went, EA's told FIFA, you are money grubbing too much.
EA had that sense of pride and accomplishment
Yeah.
themselves, and they went, no, we're not going to be doing
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
They took the gamble, released the next, what would have
which
been
is just
FIFA.
called FC now.
It's called
Okay,
FC,
okay.
and they had no difference in the money made, and
Yeah.
nobody cared that the FIFA was dropped, and now was probably the best business decision that EA's made in a
Far
very
out.
long time.
'Cause they don't have to pay FIFA.
That's
Yeah.
W.
It was like, they had to pay them billions, I think.
Yeah.
for
The,
the
the license was absolutely huge.
Jesus.
But this is the example that I use when people come to me for MMORPGs and they say things like, our genre, our game is massive, it's super important. And I've had to say, look, you're existing within a bubble.
Yeah.
The MMORPG player base per game is a bubble. The Guild Wars 2 players think Guild Wars 2 is fantastic. The World of Warcraft players think World of Warcraft is fantastic. When you look at the entire genre as a whole, the genre compared to other genres is tiny. We are a niche within a niche.
It is not the juggernaut it used to be.
No,
you
not
know?
at all.
You know, back in the day, you talked about like the whole social experience, and now like the younger generation have just gone to like other genres of games,
Yes.
you know, and whatever they can give. Like EA, obviously FIFA, massively popular. Obviously anime games, gacha games, which is like, I guess, my specialty. That's like very popular in like the new generation, but also things like Fortnite as well. And just
I think one of the biggest examples as well is that mobile phones are now the biggest video game console in the world.
Yeah.
And you can play a lot of gacha games on mobile.
Yes.
When we saw the footage of EverQuest earlier and you straight away said, oh my God, how many menus are there? You could not put EverQuest on a mobile, but you could put most gacha games on mobile, which just gives you exposure to a much bigger audience.
exactly.
There you go. That's a new challenge for you. Playing EverQuest on the mobile phone.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Play an EverQuest on
It'll
a
be
mobile.
an hour of you just like doing
Just zooming in when it's kind of like...
just like, wait, I think I clicked the right thing.
Yeah. So they have managed to port a couple of successful MMOs over to mobile. RuneScape is a good example. RuneScape and old school RuneScape, because they're two separate games, their mobile clients are fantastic. They are genuinely very good. I consulted on the RuneScape 3 mobile client, and it was actually a really interesting day. I sent them my review video, which involved me finding a couple of bugs and glitches.
Yeah.
And they sent back saying, we don't like this, but fine. So they appreciated that I found that. Talking about mobiles and talking about consoles, especially MMORPGs, mobile gaming makes more money than console gaming. Mobile gaming makes more money than PC gaming.
Yes.
And on the PC, the MMO is a small genre itself. It doesn't make as much money as other PC games, first-person shooters, third-person shooters, adventure games, that kind of stuff. So I think because I exist within the MMO sphere, it's very healthy for me to walk outside. For example, I've been in Japan for 3 weeks now. I have not seen a single World of Warcraft thing. I've not seen a figure, I've not seen a poster, I've not seen a
don't think it
game.
was
I don't think it was popular in Japan.
It's not popular over here at all.
Yeah.
But when I exist within my MMORPG sphere, I get messages daily, hourly in some cases, from people saying, World of Warcraft is massive. It's the biggest thing in the world. It's absolutely global. Everyone should love it. It's fantastic. Why aren't you playing it more? And I said, because I don't want to, and because you're existing within this tiny bubble. We need to step out of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the gacha games ideas, you get people who are hyper-enfranchised within the gacha games industry
Exactly.
who don't understand that there is another games industry out there at all.
Yes, exactly. And, they have the gacha space has a very specific thing of doing, specific way of doing things. And a lot of the other gaming spaces just don't fuck with the way gacha games.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But how much money does it make?
But it makes a lot of money.
So much money.
It makes so much money.
Did you see that one of the most profitable games is this fucking Monopoly game? Have you seen this?
Yeah.
I think you talked about it.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
Yeah.
fucking insane. There's this garbage Monopoly game that makes billions.
But people realize that you can give £1 or $1 much easier than you can give 1,000 or 10,000.
Yeah,
And so games
sure.
companies said, right, if we are in everyone's pocket, literally on their phones, then let's ask
The game's
everyone
made
for
$2
$1.
billion. $3 billion.
Let's ask everyone for $1. See, in sales, it's sometimes easier to sell one massive thing to one person. Whereas in games, it's much easier to sell 1 million small microtransactions to 1 million players, which is why the microtransaction boom has happened. RuneScape 3 uses a lot of gacha mechanics. In my review of RuneScape 3, I go through their entire shop system and break down all of the currency. Oh, this is an entire separate conversation with MMOs.
Yeah.
When you purchase an item in a gacha game, you spend money to get a currency.
Yes.
Then you convert that currency into another currency.
I hate
Yes.
I hate
It's
this
done on
stuff.
purpose. It's
Yeah.
a psychological trick. It's what casinos use.
Yes.
You cannot track the conversion rates between multiple currencies. So let's say that you spend $10 and you buy 10 bits of gold. Then you spend 10 bits of gold and turn them into 35 moon shards. Then you spend 35 moon shards and turn them into 170 crystal bits. Then you spend 16 crystal bits to buy a shard of a sword. And you need 200 shards of a sword. How much does one shard cost in real money
It's like a
value?
math problem.
You don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's the guy from the math problem that turns up with 100 watermelons in his car. How many times do we convert this money? It's a psychological trick to distance you from the value of whatever the thing is. And
Right.
companies can then say, legally, they didn't sell you the sword shard because that would be selling power. They sold you the virtual gold. What you then did with that is a completely separate transaction. So it's not pay to win. It also takes away the value of the thing. The digital thing has no value. Only the gold does. But the gold never buys the things. The gold buys other currencies, which then buy the thing.
Do you think this is one of the reasons why newer MMOs are struggling because there is such an expectation to monetize?
Yes, without a doubt. So games release with a special version of the game. They release. If you go to EverQuest 1 subscription.
Like what, like $2 a month or something?
Well,
or?
there's actually 3 different
Oh,
layers
God.
to it. So go to
Oh,
membership. So here's the thing you can do with EverQuest 1. Not only do you get stuff, but you can also enhance your membership with EverQuest with these things here. So let's say that you want to be an adventurer. You get a 5% experience boost and you have 10% more coin from killing enemies. That is an extra $3 a month. Let's say you want 2 perks, the adventurer and the challenger. Well, the challenger perk gives you mercenaries gaining experience quicker and you don't lose levels when you die. The merchant gives you even more. So if you and I are both playing EverQuest and I am paying an extra $5 a month for all those things, I have an inherent advantage. Is that morally wrong if EverQuest need to make money? Because people will play it for free.
Yeah.
But what's better? Taking the idea that it's a $5 game with a massive free trial, or taking the idea that is a free game with a $5 boost that you can play for. Because both those things are exactly the same, but one of them is reframing how you see it. Are you playing a free trial and then paying for the full game? Or are you playing the full game and paying for advantage?
Well, I think some people, they see this and they'll see the $5 a month and what they see is commitment.
Yes.
And I think that's like in most things in life that scares people. They're like, oh, now I have to play X amount of hours. Whereas, for free games, often they're like, oh no, just play as little or as much as you want. In reality, they're getting you in and sucked in, and this will make your life easier right now.
This is monetization within gaming, which has gone through a really weird cycle and ended up almost back where it started. As in, when games first started, one of the first games I think called Space War, and it was this idea of almost like a ping pong style tennis thing on an old oscillating scope. And then we got games like Pong, games like Pac-Man, and they went to the arcade. And you put more money in to play the game more. We had games like Time Crisis, where you would die at the second boss. Great game, but you would die.
Yeah, you would die.
And then you put some more credits in. This was almost accepted. You put more money in to play the game for longer to get more lives. Then when we had the kind of home console revolution, games companies realized, oh, we can't keep dragging money off people. How do we make the most of selling our games? Well, we just make them really difficult because a lot of people still rented games at the time. There was a thing called the Blockbuster level, as in the old rental shop Blockbuster.
Right.
The games, The Lion King on the NES and the SNES, they have a notoriously difficult second or third level. This was done on purpose to mean that you had to rent the game several times, which means Blockbuster wanted to buy the game in order to rent it out far, far more.
Right.
So we're still taking more money off people. Then we have the home console revolution with PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Games companies realize once they've sold the game, oh, what now? How do we get more money off people?
Yeah.
Well, suddenly that's when battle passes creep in. That's when the idea of cosmetics creep in. It all started with the stupid Oblivion horse armor, which was when, if you Google Oblivion horse armor.
I remember this when this happened.
This was massive. It was the idea that you could spend an extra couple of dollars to get some armor for your horse in Oblivion.
Yeah, I remember seeing this post as well. Yeah,
and that was almost opening the floodgates for what could happen. And now we're in this position where when you purchase a video game, you don't own the video game. They're pushing games as a service. You are renting the idea.
Yeah.
And one of the worst ways this comes around, this is one of my personal pet peeves. Have you ever played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
Classic.
Could you please Google, I think it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. So what happened with this was, it might not be 4, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong with this. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 launched on disc. But what happened was, all the disc gave you was the rights to download the rest of the game from the server. So you had to have an internet connection to get the game.
God,
the problem is, those servers are now offline. Which means if you have the disc, you only have level 1. You cannot get the rest of this game. It might be a different Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game, but the idea was you no longer purchase the data that has the game on it. You purchase a temporary license to access the data, which is super annoying. And the games industry is monetized to all hell and back. MMORPG players sometimes just seem extremely entitled with the amount of game they want for the amount of money they're given.
Well, the thing about MMOs is that because you said it's like a juggernaut of the old days, that mentality of the same monetization system that worked back then is still with the same expectations without gathering in the new players that have another different set of expectations and what they are okay with in terms of like monetization.
I mean, the original games you paid by the minute, by the hour. You paid not only for the internet connection, but also for access to the games. There was an old game, I believe it was called The Island of Kesmai, one of the very first kind of text-based MMORPGs, that you would effectively have to pay per instruction you sent to the server, per word you sent, per click you did. So, you want to go and raid this dungeon? Cool, it's probably going to cost you about £5 stuff.
But it was popular?
It was very popular because it
1985.
It was new, it was different, it was strange. That's what it looked like on the far right. That is the more modern graphics. The extreme old ones are the ASCII graphics.
Far right.
Far right top.
Yeah,
the ASCII graphics.
God, that reminds me of like Dwarf
Fortress.
Dwarf Fortress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
So you would pay per instruction that you sent to the server because your internet time was limited. In fact, MMORPGs, and that's one of the reasons that RuneScape really took off, most MMOs required a download. They required a game to be, an EXE to be run. The browser game, RuneScape, didn't require a download, which was why it was able to take over school computers, library computers.
That's why I got into it.
Any public computer that blocked files, blocked EXEs and blocked downloads could still run these browser-based games.